Hey everyone, I'm Josh, and in this video I want to talk about how we all want to feel like we belong. This is probably one of those almost universal needs for human beings. In fact, the only time I'd say where it's not universal is because mental illnesses do exist. There are people who are born with brains that have mutations, and that may make it so they don't really care all that much about belonging. But for the most part, it seems like this is a want, a desire that many people have. It's something that interconnects nearly all of us. We all want to feel like we belong, whether that be with our families, with our friends, our romantic partners, our coworkers, our community. The list goes on. It's with all the people surrounding us. And I've even realized this transcends people as well. You want to feel like you belong in the area you're living in, the environment itself, because all of us have different personalities, and some of our personalities will be more finely attuned with different environments. Like, I eventually realized I did not like living in Los Angeles because my personality does not fit big cities. That's why I moved to Colorado to live with my parents again, because now I'm surrounded by beauty and mountains and forests and nature, and I love it. And I also love the fact that there are just less people in general, because I grew to kind of not enjoy being around so many people. It just creates this kind of frenetic environment, and it also creates a lot of selfishness because there's so many people that it's too difficult for everyone to be super courteous to each other and to care about all the feelings of the people around them. So a lot of people become selfish in big cities. But I don't want to get sidetracked. All I meant is that this also applies to the environment we live in as well. We all just want to feel like we belong. And when we find ourselves feeling like we don't belong, we can end up unhappy. We can feel this disconnection between the people surrounding us and even our environment. We'll feel like we're not meant to be there, which can also make people feel like they're not meant to exist. And this is why this is probably one of the most important things for people to work on. Because if you don't have that sense of belonging, it can make it easier to give into those dark thoughts that we can occasionally have when we're in not so great places. So you can consciously work on finding or curating a sense of belonging, because think about this. You have a lot of choice in who you surround yourself with and the environment you live in. These aren't things that are permanent, that are just thrust upon you, that you have no say in. You get to choose who you keep in your life and where you live. So knowing that, it's in your own best interest to find people and places that make you feel like you belong. You don't need to stick with people just because you've known them forever. I mean, I still keep in touch with some of the people I grew up with, but there are also many of them that I never talk to anymore. That's because at some point I realized, even though I grew up with them and they were good friends for the time that I needed them to be, eventually we grew apart. We were going in different directions. That's okay. You don't need to keep people in your life just because you have that history with them. You also don't need to keep people in your life just because of convenience, because they're the people around you. Like, being friends with your coworkers, that's always been something difficult for me because so often I just, the people we work with don't need to be our family, right? So there have been quite a few times where I just do not mesh with the people I'm working with all that much. It doesn't mean they're bad people, it just means our personalities are different. And in fact, in my last job, I actually left it because I did not feel like I belonged there. I felt like my coworkers, the ones I worked with in the Los Angeles office, I felt like I didn't connect with them. There were great coworkers in general that I worked with, but my actual team of people that I worked with on a daily basis, I didn't feel like I belonged with them. So at some point I was like, okay, I need to get out of here, because it was affecting my happiness and my mental health. It was making me start spiraling downwards, and that's what happens when we feel like we don't belong. It's actually kind of unfortunate because the coworkers who I had in the Dallas office, I got along with so much better, but I wasn't going to move to Dallas for that job, so I just had to get out of it. And that is okay. It's okay to leave situations or people that you feel disconnected from. I have noticed that a lot of people do tend to stay with people or in places that they don't quite belong because they don't want to hurt other people's feelings, or they don't want to make that courageous step to leave the environment they grew up in. And knowing that, I would say work on developing that confidence, that trust in yourself to make the right decisions, because you shouldn't stay with people in your inner circle or in environments that don't fit you. You do not want to create a life that's built around convenience because it's all that you've known. You don't want to live small. I mean, we don't know how much time we have to even enjoy living, right? You could get maybe 80 years, you could get 60, you could get 40, you could even get less than that. So knowing this, do not live small. Be conscious about the way you curate your life. Find that sense of belonging. Get new friends. Get a new environment to live in. Move away from the place you grew up. Just go wherever your heart speaks to you. Find somewhere where you belong and find people that make you feel like you belong. I mean, take it from me. I've been very careful with the people I choose to surround myself with because I've just learned that you want people who actually impact your life in a positive way, and even people who can help you grow and become better yourself. So I don't like having just random friends in my life because I grew up with them or because I work with them or because we went to college together, whatever it may have been. I choose to keep people in my life because I really enjoy their company and they also enjoy mine. And we help each other become better and we all feel like we belong in each other's company. That's what you want to do yourself. You don't need to have the same friends you've had your entire life. Find people who speak to you, people who are good for you. And then, of course, do the same thing with your environment. You do not need to stay in some place because your job is attached to it and it's the only place you know. Get a new job if it's tethering you to a physical location. Like, it's important to find those places where you belong, to do that difficult work to create that life. I know it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy by any means. I know it's not, especially when you have to get a new job to move. Like, that's not easy, especially in today's job market. I mean, yeah, I'm still unemployed, so I know, believe me, I know. It is not easy. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't make those decisions just because it's going to take time for you to figure things out. No, make those courageous decisions and figure it out as you go. It will make your life so much better that it's completely worth it. Just do not stay in those environments or with people that don't make you feel like you belong. The impact on your mental health is just way too much. You don't want to end up unhappy and feeling that disconnection just because you don't have the courage to make tough choices. Make those choices. No matter how difficult they are, they're only tough initially. And then you start to figure it out as you go. You start to make things work. And sooner or later, you've created a new life for yourself that makes you feel so much better that you reflect on those tough decisions and you're like, holy crap, I'm glad that I had the courage to make them because I am way happier now and I like who I am now a lot more. And I like the people I've surrounded myself with and I like my new environment so much more. There you go. It's worth it. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. I'm just really passionate about this because, yeah, unfortunately, when people aren't able to find that sense of belonging, it can make people make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions to choose to no longer continue their life. And that's just something that is really unfortunate to me. I really wish I could talk to everyone who was feeling that way and try to help them work through it because I just think everyone should, as much as possible, strive to make the most of their time while they're here because it's freaking incredible that we exist. And it's unfortunate to see people not feeling that way and then, ending their journey prematurely over it. So yeah, I'm very passionate about this subject. I want to make sure that everyone who's watched this video, especially if you've gotten this far, I want to make sure that you create a good life for yourself, that you find that sense of belonging because it's one of the most powerful things out there. And many people don't realize that until they finally find it. And remember, you can consciously find it. You can create it for yourself. It's not something that needs to find you. It's something you can create. So go out there and curate a life where you have that sense of belonging. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a thumbs up on it for the algorithm. That really helps me out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about this. Especially, I would love to hear how many of you have already created this sense of belonging in your own life because I love those stories. They're awesome to hear, so definitely feel free to share them in the comments. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Arrivederci!